My first guest today is Bob Stein from Rice University. Professor Stein is both an expert in politics and public policy and an avid cyclist. He not only cycles as a form of recreation, he also bikes to work. Bob, welcome to Mobility Now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now one might expect that I'd be asking you to handicap the mayor's race or something like that, but today I'm going to talk to you about your odyssey of cycling to work. How long have you been doing it?
This is my 36th year.
Wow. What motivated you to get started on that?
Probably like a lot of people. We came to Houston in 1979. We only had one car, 2 children, and the inevitability of finding a way to get to work and my wife to get around. So we decided I might bike a couple of days a week to work.
Right.
I did it along Braeswood. We lived in far southwest Houston. And one thing led to another, and 11 bikes later, I became quite, how should I say, addicted to commuting to work. And of course, recreational biking came along with it.
I see. So you were biking in Houston before biking in Houston was cool.
I don't know if it was cool or not, but I was biking in Houston before there were bike paths.
Well, what has motivated you to keep this going for 36 years?
Well, for 33 years, it was getting, how can I say, a little boring. I would go in every day along Braeswood. They did some very nice enhancements to the infrastructure and bridges. But 3 years ago, luckily, I moved to the Heights. I say luckily because my daughter and 2 grandsons live there. And in the Heights, I now have anywhere between 5 to 6 different commutes to work. I come down the Heights Bike Trail. I come down White Oak Bayou. I can go to U of H downtown, take Buffalo Bayou, the new bike trails that go all the way up to Dunleavy, drop down from Dunleavy to Rice. Sometimes I take the Columbia Tap all the way around. Sometimes I take Texas Avenue all the way down to 75th and Griggs and come around to McGregor, but all of which are delightful rides. And as you know, Houston is a 12 month of a year city. If it gets cold, it's actually nice compared to the hot summers. And although I think traffic has gotten much worse over the years, we've obviously doubled in size, I find it a very, bike-friendly area. I teach and do research with colleagues in all over the country. I go to Portland, Oregon. I go to Seattle, Washington, Palo Alto. And when I tell my friends I commute 25 miles round trip, and I hardly have maybe more than 5 miles on the road, they look at me like I'm living in I think I live in downtown Manhattan and Houston Street and not Houston.
Right.
But Houston doesn't get a fair rap. It is a city where you can commute, and particularly now with the Columbia Tap, Buffalo Bayou, and more importantly, I think there are a lot of support groups that will teach you how to commute. There's lots of opportunities for getting support.
But what would you say are some of the things that the joys you'll experience if you do this for a long time?
The obvious ones, I think, I can't speak to the health benefits. That hasn't hurt me yet. I think one of the other things I like a lot about it is you meet a lot of people.
Right.
When I first started commuting, there weren't a lot, but there were very interesting people. And not just bikers, but joggers. If you think of these bike paths, walkways, trailways, it's an integrated community. I'll sometimes stop and see the same people over years and talk to them for about a half hour. I think the other is you get to see parts of the city you wouldn't normally see if you were driving to work, taking a bus, or even the rail. Of course, Buffalo Bayou and the entire system of trails that goes from downtown all the way out to 610 Loop through Memorial has a lot of interesting stores and restaurants and places. So I think it's just a lot of fun. When I decided to move to the Heights, I didn't realize how many people I knew who had biked and walked and hiked on the trail found out. And when I was coming home one April evening, just before we moved, just near the Jewish Community Center, one of my very good friends, Noreen Horde, had 3 or 4 bottles of champagne at a farewell party. I had 2 glasses of champagne, and it was hard to get home.
So what are the things that have changed the most for the better since you started? You mentioned a number of them, but are there some things that you've really seen improve, new trails, new facilities?
Well, new trails, clearly. Braes Bayou was one I rode on for 33 years, and it's seen lots of improvements. It's seen the creation, it's seen bridges, it's seen a better surface area. It used to be almost all asphalt. Now they're concreting parts of it. Second, we've got a network of bike paths. I don't know if you realize it, but you can go from the Heights all the way out to Fort Bend County and never get off a bike path. So the connectivity is a really big advantage. It means now that young children, parents don't worry about their kids having to integrate with traffic. Even when there are crosses, there are lots of groups. The Mayor's Task Force on Biking is now looking for ways to connect roadways and bike paths. I think the other is the technology in bikes. There are a whole new generation of what are now we call commuter bikes that are really much more friendly, more comfortable, more durable, and don't require you having a mechanic's PhD to fix them up.
Well, if somebody was thinking about just getting started on their own bicycle commuting odyssey, are there some websites or resources you could recommend?
Absolutely. First, I think it's a great question, and I would recommend not doing it as I do it 5 days a week. Take a day, maybe a Friday, where you know you have time coming home. Bike Houston is a wonderful website, www.bikehouston. It has all the do's and don'ts of getting ready to commute. Everything from what clothes you should wear, how you should figure out a route, what lighting you need. And again, what I would do is start off comfortably, make it fun. Make it an activity that you're looking forward to, not something that's, as we often do, find drudgery on Monday morning.
Thank you, Bob. When we come back, more about the growing cycling trend in the Houston-Galveston region. Don't go away.